Hi, Megha.
Hi.
How are you? All good?
Yeah, all good, all fine, doing well, happy.
No, you look very happy. Very nice to see you.
Same
You're
here.
glowing. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I
But
look
how has
forward.
the orientation changed? From left to right. What
Uh,
I'm trying to say is my hair is actually here, so it's reversed. On the camera, it's on the reverse side.
okay. Akhil, do you want to help us here? Maybe.
No, no, it's okay. It's okay. I think it's
Yeah, yeah.
normal. I
Yeah,
was
I
just
think
thinking.
maybe. Yeah, yeah. Because it's a mirror. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, Shri.
Hi, Ayushri. How are you?
All good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hi, Megha. Finally, we get to meet
Hi,
each other.
hi, Shri. Hi, Shri. Pleasure
Yeah.
to meet you.
Same here.
Yes. Yes. We'll just wait for maybe, a few 2-3 minutes. We'll wait for this is anyway going live, so everyone would be able to see us or it's going live on Facebook, YouTube, the Vidphone
Okay.
Can I
channels.
have the channel links here so that I can just forward to my folks
Yeah.
through
Akhil, could
WhatsApp?
you just help us with those, please, if possible? Yeah,
Yeah, sure. It's
that will just be shared on the chat, and then you can just, share it across, and everyone can also join from there. Yeah. So I think we can, start our discussion because, it'll anyway be this thing and because we have so much to discuss and I'm really excited and looking forward to this chat. So without taking more time, so thank you, ladies, for joining us today on the Vidphone Show. Very happy to have you both here. And, you both come from uh, little different industries, I say, and that is why I wanted to bring you both together. But yesterday, while I was on the call with you both together, I realized how much synergies are also there in the outlooks we have, in the journeys you both might have had, and where you are at your stage on your entrepreneurial journeys now, and what is next. So Shri, I would start with you. So Shri, I just like to open by asking you a little about yourself. Tell us a little about yourself first. What are you currently doing? And let's start with that.
Okay, Ayushi, thank you very much, Vidphone, for having me here on this panel. And it's absolute pleasure and a humbling experience to share this stage with Megha. Definitely would like to hear her out also and understand. I agree with you that we could be in different industries, but we still have the problems are similar. It doesn't matter which industry you belong. Each of them require the same amount of input, same amount of efforts, and today, especially on this session where we are talking about international women or women of substance or women who have done something in their lives, it becomes even more important for us to understand and support each other and move forward. Answering your question, Ayushri, yes, I have been, by training, I'm a chemist. I have a PhD in chemistry and postdoctoral, and then postdoctoral from IISc in Bangalore and NCL Pune. And then I left for Canada for good 16 years, 15, 16 years. Was working on Pfizer projects, one of the best companies to work in. And then, the bug of entrepreneurship caught me, and I didn't know, I was not getting growing in the hierarchy, and that made me do MBA. And when you do MBA, you think you are the next big one and you understand everything about businesses, which is so naive at that point. But it brought me back to India and set up my facility first in Bangalore, and then later on, because it was R&D, and especially pharma or nutra products, they require a whole lot of whole lot of capital for starting something. So this industry is not one of those where I can say that, I have an idea. For me to have an idea, I need to have an investment of 1 crore or more. Then you need to see whether it will be possible to make this 1 crore useful or not. So, right in the beginning, it is capital intensive. That brought me to Mysore from Bangalore. And not just the money part, but here we have one of the best education institutes, the University of Mysore, the JSS, the CFTRI, the DFRL, you name it, we have it. And so and women tend to be very, very good at work. Especially science is something that we have lots of them here. So I think the HR and the low cost of doing anything is what brought me back to Mysore, and I started working here in last 13 years. So first venture was called as Triphase Pharmaceutical, and this venture a platform technology on which you could make these bacteria's temperature stable, a major breakthrough in probiotics. 2021, I took a exit from that company, and 21 year I was as an advisor and just continued on the same thing. But the early, November 22 or early December 22 is when I started my second venture. And now I have, that is also in probiotics. But COVID taught me one thing, that you cannot individually worry about yourself. So you have to have the animals equally taken care of and the environment very equally taken care of. So a term is coined for such research, which is called One Health. So One Health means it is that if you are worried about your own health, which we did in COVID times by isolating ourselves, but it didn't make sense because lots of these infectious diseases are coming from animals to humans. So now we have understood that we will have to make their immunity also equally high, like how we make our immunity high. So Probix, that is what it is called, and it is mostly into the concept of One Health.
Great to know about that, Shri. I have known you since a few years now, and I have seen your journey. I think over the years, seen you from Triphase, and got to know you both professionally and personally, and it has been a pleasure. I very recently got to know that Megha, just sharing this with you, that Shri has now exited her and she's on to her second venture. So that's even more inspiring. She has exited this successful venture at this stage, and she has decided to start something new. So, that was very, very inspiring for me. So happy to hear you, Shri. Next, Megha is coming to you. The same question for you, how, like a little bit about yourself and, how, what you are doing currently, and a little bit just about yourself right now. Yeah.
Sure. First of all, Shri, congratulations for your successful exit, and best wishes for your second venture. It has been a very inspiring journey. I was really hearing it and loving it. So hats off to you. Now, coming to myself. So essentially, there's a fancy term called growth marketer, that we hear recently and everywhere now. So now, but I'm an accidental growth marketer. I just want to humorize this whole thing a little bit, because I didn't know that when I was starting off my journey, like the only thing that I would negotiate hard on was the profile, the kind of work that I would be doing. So I was very, demanding with my seniors, and this thing that every 6 months there is something new. So one of my bosses, we used to say Miss Challenging also. That was the acronym that was given to me for the time I was there in the organization. So essentially, I have 2 decades of work experience working with and why I call myself a accidental growth marketer is because I started my career in brand management with a media house, then doing events, brand management, working with Bollywood celebrities, handling all their events. and then to research, to hardcore research, to selling research products, to doing testing, dynamic tracks, and all that, and then shifted career again into SaaS based products. They're also handling the marketing for our corporate clients for the product and services that we were basically managing for them. So as that was another very moment that gave a lot of momentum to my career, because I was handling a large I set up this office, this particular role, then hired the team and built the team and scaled. I was handling all the corporate clients, from e-commerce to retail to the QSR and everything in India as well as in the other regions of the globe. So from the time to time, the geographies have been different depending upon the services, the products, the organizations that I worked with, and then obviously then to edtech, fintech. So I don't think so. There's any category left now. Yes, there is one coming. Crypto and all that. So let me see how I can go into that also with the work that I'm doing currently. So now
Yeah.
I'm building my. So as a part of the core team with one of the companies, when the company got exit. So since I was the core team member, so I also got my share of celebrations and
Got it.
financial gains.
Got it.
So
Mm,
and now currently I'm building my venture, which is brand and strategies. And
yeah.
what we offer to corporate clients, to startups, is build their brands. We help them to build their brand strategies, their marketing strategies, their communication strategy, and the business growth strategy.
Yeah.
Because content is not only about building content, it's about having a strategic plan of execution and planning. And as a part, since I'm an author, I've written a book, High Heels, Oh Girl,
Yes.
Build
Yes.
Boundaries, and Build Enterprises, that's available on Amazon. And so we also offer a lot of book writing services to, founders. And
Yeah.
what we also do as a part, because of these relationships that I have built over time,
Yeah.
there's this concept, everybody's talking about personal branding and this. So a lot of female founders and others, even male founders and other leaders, have
Yeah.
approached for brand building services. So so not only for corporates but for individuals also, we do these brand building, personal branding sessions. And
Yeah.
also as a part of the DNI initiatives, I love to talk about the Wheel of Fortune concept, and this is my motto and mission of 2023, to propagate this fact to each and every person I know, so that the way I am enjoying life, along with work, along with the other
Yeah.
things that I'm doing, everybody else should also get the benefit of that. So this
True.
is the
True.
gist of what I do.
Yes. No, lovely, Megha, and lovely to see the variety of things I think you have done, and so many experiences, so many skill sets developed, I'm sure, over the years. So, Megha, please feel free to put your book's name on the comments chat box too, so that our audience, viewers can
Sure.
share, check it out and everything. So, Shri, coming back to you, I wanted to touch a little bit on, now we know why, what are you guys currently doing, and, how maybe through your careers you might have had shifts. But I also wanted to know, how did you decide to be an entrepreneur? Because we know, right, a secured job is that life is very different than an entrepreneur's life. I mean, so I wanted to know a little bit about them, that why entrepreneurship, how did you decide to choose this field?
I need this
uh,
dopamine all the time. So I'm one of those people who need to have something to dream for, and I'm self-motivated. I don't need any motivation. I can sit and mind my own business, and I can there has to be something to look forward to. There has to be something to look forward to. And that resulted in me as a scientist, actually. I was sitting and cribbing around that, God bless me, I have I was in a part of Canada where it was more of oil and gas rather than pharmaceuticals. And so I always felt that I was not able to do beyond what I was supposed to do. This resulted into me getting little edgy, and I said, okay, the next best thing would be that I need to, because there was a hierarchy, and in R&D, or in when you are a tech person, it requires a lot of efforts to be recognized. So at that point, you can't do anything, because all you are being assessed upon is only on the technology that you are dealing with. So it didn't make sense, because there were many people above me for my hierarchy. So in fact, when I went to my CEO and told him that, you don't understand, I'm performing so and so, middle management would never tell you, but this is the output I'm giving, whatever their 360-degree of things were there. He said, yeah, but what exactly are you going to do? You are a researcher, and you are going to be a researcher all your life. So what exactly are you going to, even if you grow, you will become a joint director, maximum a director, but then what is it that you want? And that kind of, was a big jolt for me, that baat to sahi hai. I will not be able to do anything else. I said, what does it take to come and be doing something different than what I'm doing? And then he said, well, you do not have a management degree. And I think that triggered a very big tsunami in my life, that I actually went for an MBA. And I
Yeah.
was blessed. I was blessed because in University of Alberta has very good specialization. I thought, yeah,
Mm.
after doing all this research, after doing all, as a researcher also, I was established there for 8-10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just studies, but actually professionally, I was working for
Yeah.
companies. So after this, what? And then when I went to University of Alberta, they had specializations such as technology commercialization. So you
Okay.
were a technology
Yes.
person, you knew
And
science.
how do you?
Even if,
Yeah.
you could not, you don't need to know everything. Like, I'm a chemist, I don't know gene splicing, I don't know, genetic engineering, or I don't know
Yeah.
the depth of other things. But
Yeah.
at least I knew whom to approach for, or where to read what. So the
Yeah.
science
Yeah.
part took care of it, and the commercial thing was because it allowed me to see a technology and see what are the multiple applications. That's what is
Yeah.
business all about,
Yeah.
hey?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. True.
once I did that, the next best thing was sitting in Canada, and doing this was not possible. It was just a dream of me, because pharmaceutical is very expensive and high risk industry.
Mm.
So that was one big reason that I think I turned into an entrepreneur. Just the very fact that I was getting bored doing what I was doing is the reason I turned into an entrepreneur.
No, no, lovely, because I think that has opened that. I think that was also a point from where you realize how much more can you do, right? Like there's no entrepreneurship is also that, right? It did not get you never get bored. I mean, there's always something going on every day. Every day is different. Every day there are things. Yeah.
Yes.
So lovely to know, Shri. And we'll come back to you. Megha, same question to you. Why entrepreneurship? How did you? Because the same thing. How did you move? Did you move to entrepreneurship firstly, or did you start your career with by being an entrepreneur? So a little bit about that. You have told us the varied roles you have played, but I just wanted to know a little bit, about why the shift. Yeah.
Yes. So why the shift happened, basically, like I told you, there was a variety of roles that I had done, industries that I had played, worked with, and a lot of people, were like start. So there was a skill set. I had set up offices for international brands in coming to India. I'd set up, for Indian brands, international brands. So marketing has been, running in my blood now. Content, so many white books created, so many communication pieces created. I can't even remember for the last 20 years how much of communication work that I would have done. And then, thanks to, I think COVID, what happened, there was a time, there was a lot of time. So I, like Shri had approached, like went into doing her MBA. I started learning. So since I have already studied MBA and then done a specialization in strategic management from IIM Calcutta. So then what was next? Like I started because COVID saved our travel time in this thing. So I said, okay, let me just enroll in some courses with the international coaches. And those coaches, they motivated me, there is so, not only the coaches, the entire community looking at what people were doing at a stage much younger to me. I had
Yeah.
2 decades of experience at my back, client relationships, everything at my back, and these people were just maybe in the early stage of their career, and they were building something big, and they everybody had certain vision in place. Then during COVID, a lot of corporates used to approach me, startups basically, for discussing the idea, for the discussing the idea and what they were planning. And I was always very open to hearing and giving my views. See,
Yeah.
one thing which is very important is how you take feedback and how you give feedback.
True.
It is not always, if you say, if I go and ask somebody and say, like, how is this, everybody, yeah, yeah, bahut achha hai, it'll go work. No, that's
True.
not the way to take feedback. what
Yeah.
is what is it that you liked in it? How do
Yeah.
you think it will
Yeah.
impact you? How
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
think so those things. So I basically have this habit of giving very detailed feedback to my team members. That also comes from the corporate learning experience. And and for me, appraisals were a 1 minute job, because feedback is given all the year, and then appraisal may, this is the thing, done, smile, you be happy, I be happy. So I think this is what I was doing for startups also. When I was giving,
Yeah.
they were, a lot of them were very happy with the kind of detailed feedback I gave. And
Yeah.
then COVID changed the dynamics of the marketing and the content industry. So when I
Yeah.
started as trying my hands on content building, just to see how things are, got good clients to work on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then but content is a very competitive space, so
True.
there will be
True.
freelancers who are offering content at 10 pesa, and
Yeah.
I don't work on those
Mm.
things. So because quality comes with a premium.
Yeah.
So so the thing is, then I thought, okay, fine. Then I, for 4 months, I met a lot of founders. 4 months I have spent, like literally meeting people, understanding their products, their
Yeah.
services,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
they're targeting consumers. A lot of,
Yeah.
so I identified a lot of gaps. And
Yeah.
when these gaps are there, so obviously there is room for me to establish my brand and company, and help them in scaling their business, their venture.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
how I thought, okay, like I should nurture my startup and establish it, to help these startup founders. So
True.
that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, no, very lovely, Megha. Like, because you, I think you both, like I was telling in the beginning, and now we can, as we talk, we can also see it more that are very different journeys. But I think that bug for entrepreneurship was there in both of you, right? At like some
Yeah.
point to do more, to, give back to, I think for Shri, I have seen her she just wants to give back to the community a lot, and we all know, like, we all have personally also reached out to Shri so many times. And in the community, if you are in the community with Shri, you see that that she's there, like, she's there and extending support, extending help as a role model entrepreneur to a lot of other entrepreneurs. And I think that's very important. And now, Megha, what you are saying also, your goal is that, right, to enable startups but also be a role model to others. Maybe at one point you did see people younger than you also doing things, and that you said motivated you to really uh, like take your experience and do something more. So that sounds very
True.
interesting. And then maybe somewhere role models to you, and you want to be a role model. So this is, we are also building this community for that. I really believe, that role models are very important in your life. It might be a professional contact that you have met in your professional journey, or personal connect. So Shri, maybe one or two people in your life, who has been enablers in your growth. So a little bit about them.
I think one or two people will be less to
Yeah, certainly you can like,
feel or
yeah,
express gratitude to. But
yeah,
it's something that I will tell you what might be. I mean, I can pull out names. There are
yeah,
many,
yeah,
but
yeah,
what I would like to tell you is that early in my entrepreneurship journey, if
yeah,
anything right I did was
yeah,
to find mentor
yeah,
right at the beginning
yeah,
itself. Like
yeah,
2009 November, I came here. 2010, I had a mentor.
yeah,
And for me to become what I have, or for me to transform Triface into what it was, I started with service. I mean,
yeah,
middle class family with with parents from the academic background. There's
yeah,
the even if you had money, the very fact that we are so risk averse that there
yeah,
was no way
yeah,
that somebody would support me. Even I mean, they would
yeah,
not say no to me, but they would not say, "Come, hey, I'll get you,
true.
connected to so and so."
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is something that I realized right in the beginning, that I
yeah,
need to have a mentor.
yeah,
And mentor, they don't bring business to you. What mentors do is they tell you what not to do.
yeah, yeah,
When you are told what not to do, then whatever you're doing is to be done. So
yeah,
the probability of failure comes down.
yeah, yeah,
So
true.
that way I had a lot of people, not I mean, some really few very strong people. In fact, Triface became a product company only because of a mentor. I
Yeah,
was doing all these great services, and one day I had actually cracked a very big client in pharmaceutical, and this gentleman said, "Okay, let's catch up for coffee." And he saw my face drawn down, and he said, "What's wrong with you? You're making money. You're doing what you're supposed to do. You have been trained in this place, and why you're not still happy?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm just feeling a little, when you are in service industry, you are out
yeah,
of sight, out of mind. That
yeah,
is part one.
yeah,
Second thing is that you know, at least in pharmaceutical service industry, I was always a vendor, neither a scientist
mm,
nor a development. So
yeah,
that somewhere kind of hit me very badly. And
yeah,
these things basically was not making me happy. And
mm,
then this mentor of mine, who used to be a CEO of one of the biggest pharma industries in Bangalore, he told me
yeah,
only one thing: Shri, this extra $50 that you are earning in the
mm,
service will never allow you to do the research that you're screaming, and I can hear you out saying that you are more of a product company and you are
mm,
more of a research oriented company rather than just a service provider. Nothing
yeah,
wrong in that, but he said this
yeah.
extra $50 will not allow you to get into
Do the
deep
research. Yeah,
which will end up into a product. Now,
yeah,
pharmaceutical industry, if you have to say a product, the equation is simple:
yeah,
1.8 billion and 18 years. I said, this is not possible. Even if I want to do it also, and I might be one of the gems also, I will not be able to do it. And then he
mm,
said, okay, we can hash down which are the areas you want to work into.
yeah,
But think about a product, because that is what will make you happy. And true to his words, really true to his words. I took that advice of his so seriously that 3 months down the line, I knew that I'm getting into probiotics, and I just moved out of service industry. It did serve me. It did help me for 2 years for paying my bills, but that was not what I wanted. And we just focused on having a product coming out from Triface. So I think that made Triface a brand, or that made Triface a valuable asset than me doing the services that I was actually doing, or I had thought and come. So what I'm trying to bring out here is, have mentors early on. If anything else, mentors will tell you what not to do, and that makes a lot of
yeah.
difference.
No, completely agree, Shri, because I have also been in this ecosystem, now for last 4 to 5 years. And I have seen the role of mentors, in different entrepreneurs' lives. And it need not be a certain stage or industry. Across stages, across industries, it has been very beneficial. And like you said, I would, like to quote one of the things you said, and I really agree. Mentors don't bring the money, right? A lot of expectations. I think nowadays entrepreneurs also think, mentors or platforms which are enabling them, giving them this thing, they don't bring in money. I mean, they don't bring in money. So, they bring in their experience and they tell you what not to do. I mean,
Yes.
that's the value we have to understand and really, find the mentors early on in our career. So Megha, what are your thoughts on this? Coming back to you, what do you think about it, and who have been enablers in your journey?
So, I would first like to thank my father for it, because obviously basically, if he had not taken this initiative, not only for me, but for our sisters, to give them, the good education, and, we also, all three of us, basically are working in good places. We have different kinds of career roadmaps, but we're doing good. So I think what he enabled or empowered, especially me being the eldest one, was that the power of decision making. I think that's why, most majority of my decisions have been
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and that is very good. That's very
yeah.
important for the kind of roles that I have been doing.
True. Yeah,
Establishing businesses and scaling products and services is not an
yeah,
easy job. It requires a lot of decision making, and to the best of the SOPs that are there, to the best of the plans, to the best of the teams that are there would be somewhere or the other, there will be a breakdown, there will be some kind of a special
yeah,
requirement coming and
yeah,
everything.
yeah, yeah.
So I think quick decision making helps, and that also enabled me to take the most important decision of my life, marrying the right person. So having the right spouse is the most important thing,
Yeah,
for boy or girl,
yeah,
because that helps, because then we grow together as a person, we grow together, we are able to build good relationships with the family, with our friend circle, with the professional circle that we are there. And obviously, what we are doing as a professional, as an entrepreneur, is
yeah.
also a reflection somewhere of a personal life. A
True.
person who is not happy, person who is not has a lot of issues, somewhere or the other work gets affected. If you
Yeah,
can't be no matter how good a person you are, if the health is not there, or if relationships are not sorted, somewhere or the other work will be affected. And that
affected.
COVID has been a very big learner.
Yeah, yeah,
And also, for my venture, Brandon Strategies, like she has said, I also have a mentor. And so, like basically, in fact, I would want to add, not to have only mentors related to your field or your area.
yeah, yeah,
Also in,
yeah.
like, I feel mentorship is, like share market investment. You don't do investments in one particular company.
One.
You have
True.
different kinds of, you have a portfolio. So similarly for women, or for startup entrepreneurs, or for leaders, or for anybody for that matter, invest and build a tribe, build a network of people whom you could associate, or at different levels.
Yeah,
For
yeah,
health, I have a health mentor. For,
yeah,
basically for my venture, I have definitely, he guides me, he tells me, he will not bring business, obviously, because that's not his job. It's
yeah,
my job, but he just paves the way and tells me what to do and how to go about it, and corrects me where I'm wrong. And I think we should also be open to looking at things from their experience, from
experience. Yeah,
looking, hearing their suggestions. It should not be,
yeah,
if we are closed and we don't change our path or we don't pivot. We saw in COVID times, the biggest of the biggest startups, pivot, and
yeah,
and that helped them to sustain it. Otherwise, with the tough
yeah,
times that we had lived, it wouldn't have
yeah.
been possible. So I
True,
think,
true. Yeah,
and learn from everybody around you, and build a community that you can have fun with. Build a community, and mentors is definitely important. And building your tribe of people is very important, like what she is doing, what I am doing at
yeah,
my level,
yeah,
building
yeah,
our founders together. There are different
yeah,
products and services everybody is selling or
yeah,
building,
yeah,
but
yeah,
when you're in the tribe, we know that, okay, this is the same set of problems will be there, and how do we basically overcome those things.
yeah, yeah. No, that's something, I was going to ask and point out next, the importance of communities. And you have very beautifully, bought in that with mentors. Like when you said, mentors need not be just from your scope of work. They can be across the sectors and across this thing. So I mean, it's so Shri, anything you would like to add on communities? Megha has very beautifully explained to us the importance of communities, and we all know how communities are important, because I believe competition is not the way to go forward. It has to be collaboration, and people coming together, and it always necessarily does not have to mean that you are doing business with each other, or one person becomes your client or a customer or not. It's just being in the ecosystem together, being enablers of each other's business. And at one point, I'm sure there are certain ways you can obviously help each other, or be a part of that system. So Shri, your thoughts on that? I know you are a part of a few communities, and what do you see there? Or I mean, if you see anything can be improved, anything should be more in those communities, or what's lagging right now, because we see a lot of communities, and both of you here know that, right? They're like, we all must be in like 10 hundreds of WhatsApp groups only, so they are all one communities. So I mean, to also think how to really navigate this and make it more focused. I mean, these communities, the work we are doing, so that is also an important thing I wanted to touch upon. So your views on that?
So being a researcher, first thing I usually, for me, collaboration comes naturally. We this is something that we start our lives with, and I think that as long as we are doing research, we have to depend on somebody or the other. So there is no way that in isolation we can do something.
Uh,
Of lot of things.
yeah. Shri, yeah,
Personally, I take it more towards the industry I belong. The within the business where I might need help. It could be anything, emotional intelligence, or sales, like where we all are sales, because that is one thing to be learned. And or it could be just the pure uh, some chemicals I might need. So there is supplier community that I am part of, where I can be a supplier or they can be a supplier to me. So I have isolated each of these requirements of my business or my life. And then there are some people where I just go and have a book reading session. And there are some people who are just there to have fun with.
yeah, I think there's some issue with Shri's network. Megha, would you like to tell us a little bit until she joins back, on this, the
Yes,
communities? Yeah.
sure. So, yeah, as you rightly said, there are a lot of communities, and we all are part of different communities. And so, what I would like, I am a part of communities wherein we are trying to build good habits, reading habits. So, and the group is, so strict that it's a small cohort, but if we don't do that activity, reading book, then you have to pay a fine of 100 rupees. So, and whatever money is collected at
Yeah.
the end of the month, it
Yeah.
goes for any not profit activity, pet
Okay.
care or
Okay.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then,
Sounds great.
obviously,
Yeah.
yeah. And then there are communities, basically for health. I'll tell you a very interesting incident that happened recently, and how, community building is so easy. There was this, health challenge by HP, 4-week global health challenge that they do. And I saw a LinkedIn post some lady had put up. And then I said, "What is it that we are supposed to do?" So she said, "No, nothing. Whatever you're doing, you just post it every day, and then we will just stay motivated and learn from each other as to
Huh.
what we are doing." And
Okay.
so we started off. Now technology is so that's how tech comes handy also. That
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
created a small group. and asked others also to join. Some people joined, and what we
Yeah.
are doing, so that 4 week challenge is now continuing. It's been like 3-4 months that we've been doing like different kind of challenges now,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
10K steps, trying to do a trek together, planning a trek together. So doing these the other aspects of the activities, and then of course work related communities other than the the
Yeah.
company
Yeah.
groups and the networking groups. So
Yeah.
there are a couple of women focused groups wherein we try to do a lot of engagement amongst each other, explain the
Yeah.
importance of networking,
Yeah.
explain the and people are also free to do share whatever work they are
Mm.
doing. And that's how it builds beautiful connects outside the
Yeah.
work, that basically brings forth seamless relationships with people, so that
True.
tomorrow if we have to
Yeah.
go and approach the person, it becomes easy. Or maybe
Yes.
they know, off late I heard somebody saying, oh, so many people know you, this that. I was like, where is this feedback coming from? So basically the feedback is coming because I've been engaging with a lot of founders, like I
Yes.
told you, for the feedback mechanism and how do we build the products together and this
Yeah.
thing. So it's I know business will come, and this thing will happen, but it is also the value that we provide to the different communities and the value that we seek from the other communities. It
True.
should not become another social media where we are surfing mindlessly and the time goes for a toss.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if it's helping us build healthy habits, I go for it. And some we will be just, I think the ecosystem, especially in Bangalore, is so beautiful. It is so vibrant right now. It is very important for us to leverage it and
Yeah.
build and scale whatever we are doing, and at least have good
Yeah.
relationships with people around us.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, thanks, Megha. And I think that sums up, what we were just discussing and what she was also going towards. The decision to choose which groups you want to be a part of,
Correct.
something. Because again, you'll have to put some, guidelines there. Otherwise, everything gets lost again. If like too many of such things also, you tend to get lost or you tend to miss the important things, that might be of interest to you. So,
Correct.
Shri, coming back to you, you were just saying, so please go ahead. And Shri, I also wanted to say, Megha said Bangalore has a beautiful ecosystem. And Shri, we know, is from Mysuru. And I know that Mysore is also, in fact, Mysore has been a really good, place that people want to go to now and build that ecosystem there, because we see so many entrepreneurs, there who has the capabilities, has this thing, but I'm sure, Shri, how is it there, Shri? Now, maybe you can touch a bit upon that. And now, anyway, we'll see more of you in Bangalore, just 75 minutes away, right? Now we are
Yeah.
even closer. So, yeah, we'll see you more in Bangalore now. Yeah, Shri, but over to you. What, you can take it from where you left. Yeah.
Okay, very, very true, actually. And as I said, communities are for specific reasons. If it follows the path and if it is not getting you lost, like Megha very rightly expressed, that
Yeah.
otherwise you will get lost into things. And social media, you could sit on it for the whole day and you would not have gotten anything out of it.
Yeah.
So, just the TikToks are good enough to waste your time enough. And so that is why communities that you choose, you need to understand. No point in
Yeah.
having hundreds of WhatsApp messages for you to
Yeah.
get bogged
Yeah.
down upon. Coming to Bangalore, from comparison between Bangalore and Mysore, yes, Bangalore is
Yeah.
thriving. Yes, it is the
Yeah.
startup capital of the world, in fact, not just India,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
the other thing is that it has grown beyond its capacity. So rather than
True.
spending time, literally, this is what I did when 2010 and 11. We used to go to a place which was 2 hours morning run, because it was near
Mm-hmm.
this one Tumkur, and 4 hours evening run. 6 hours on the road. God bless me. I mean, 6 hours of a good time. If nothing else, at least you
I
could
know.
find out
I know.
time with your children. So when you're going in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
morning, the kids were sleeping. When you're coming back in the evening, the kids are slept. You are tired. Everything, even if you had
True.
a driver, still just the sitting part itself would
True.
bog you down. And that's why and in Triface, actually, if I take pride in anything that we have achieved, it is that my team actually moved their baggages, children, wives, their jobs, everything to Mysore.
Mysore, yeah.
And what we thought was, if we miss my Bangalore so much, it is hardly 3 hours or 2 hours or two. That time it was 2.5 hours or 3 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
You can always take a train on Saturdays or Friday evenings, come here, stay put, and then later on Sunday evening we could
Move
come back to
back.
Mysore. But
Yeah.
the point is that the team had time to take children to the park. Have we even heard that in Bangalore in recent times? No.
Yeah.
The team people had time to
Yeah.
go for lunch, and
Yeah.
with lunch they would have the lunch with their dear ones, and then they came back and they were so when my boys would come and say क्यों late हो गए madam वो है ना traffic jam था, and what was the traffic jam? One single bus and two cars before them. So I said, come, I'll drop you to the silver board and then we'll talk about what traffic jams are. Right?
Yeah.
So this is how it was. And Mysore brings a different perspective. People here,
True.
it has been labeled that this is a place which is for retirement or retired paradise.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not right. If you see
I
the seeds of entrepreneurship, if anything
Yes.
else, I'd say it started from Mysore. You have the Mysore soap, you have the Mysore sandal
True.
oil, you have the Mysore silk, you have the Mysore park. Which is it that you
Yeah.
don't say that you Bangalore, any other place did? Not just Mysore. Actually, whole of anything below Vindhyachal was only done by Mysore. There was nothing in Hyderabad or the downside in Tamil Nadu or Kerala or anywhere. Those were the time when entrepreneurship was started in Mysore. So this place has the seed of entrepreneurship. The Maharajas, the royal family held entrepreneurship because the cost of living is much lesser. Hey, you can still get a individual house for 7,000 or 10,000 rupees as rent. Have you heard
Yeah.
that in Bangalore in recent times? No. Everything is in few crores. Here, you still in lakhs, you get an apartment. Second thing,
True.
you have a very good HR.
Hmm.
Very good HR because of the NIE college from which Narayan Murthy ji has come out. So you know that that college has its own reputation. JSS, those are one of the best colleges in the
Yeah.
whole this one state. Then you have the CFTRIs, the University of Mysore. So you name it, they have it.
Yeah.
And you have a set of people who are patronizing these colleges and these institutes so that good number of people and good education can be given. For
True.
a business to be successful, it's the team.
Yeah.
And for a
Yeah.
team, if you can get good team here at a low cost, I mean, that's a dream thing for any startup.
Startup. True. True.
And
No.
gone
Yeah.
in 2011 when I came here, Ayushi, getting an investment or getting money was, yes, that was a little difficult times. Gone are those days. Investors are
Yeah.
coming and seeing if you are creating a valuable product, if you are creating a valuable technology, if you are creating something of value, they're more. In fact, even this Triface venture also had investors there, Series A investment.
True.
So
Yes. Yes.
all I'm
I'm
trying
aware.
to
Yeah.
tell you is there is no reason for us to think that the tier 2 city will not be able to give us what we will get in
True.
tier 1, except for
True.
going on the roads for number of hours. I think that is only based here. But
Yeah.
and that is why if you are
Yeah.
not looking busy, then that's a different job. But on the other side, if you see, there is a quality of life still.
Yeah. 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 So agreed, Shri. And here I think is a very good time where I would like to ask you my next question to you guys, because we saw, I'm sure, Shri, whatever you said about, being on the road, so much time going on travels, right? But not everyone is fortunate to be able to shift, or there might be various reasons, why
Yes.
all of us cannot shift to a smaller city or, live that. So, and with COVID, we saw the entire remote work culture come into place, and then the hybrid work culture, and then both, I was discussing with Megha also the importance of tools, hybrid tools that you need to invest in your business early on, so that you can optimize your work basically, even with smaller teams. So a little bit on that. What are the tools, maybe 2 to 3 tools you guys use, or would like to suggest to other entrepreneurs, upcoming entrepreneurs, and a little bit on that, Megha?
Yeah. So, being in the marketing domain and building marketing strategies, so my entire world, revolves around tools and technology and using it to the fullest. Because gone are those days of sending emails, send bulk emails are also outdated. It's now automation. So, and there are a lot of good tools available. So I would say, from the strategies are very different when we are approaching, when you are doing lead nurturing and lead scoring and lead generation to start with, and then targeting the different consumer segments, whether it's the tofu or mofu or bofu, top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and the bottom of the funnel segments. So obviously, right from that stage, from generating leads to scoring them, to nurturing them, to bringing them on a webinar like this, and talking to them, having virtual meetings, then even having offline physical events. How do you broadcast it? How do you essentially send invites to a whole number of people? So then social media, how do you automate the
Yeah,
social media posts? How do you schedule calls, whether through Calendly? And you can use automation tools, CRM tools, for the analysis of your customer base.
yeah,
So Canva is very good for designing, and for webinars and CRM, Vidphone, what we are using currently, and is a nice tool. So I'm also exploring it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that is. Because it's giving webinar feature, meeting feature, and
Yes.
CRM is also the email automation feature is also there. So that
Yes.
is
Yes.
some of the good tools that are available. And
Yeah.
depending upon the kind of customer base, you can use Mailchimp, and for automating, you can use Hootsuite. So there is, at every level, even for
Yeah.
hashtags, there are different tools. So when basically you have to, my only suggestion would be that whatever tool that you're taking, you should take it, it should be scalable. Once your business grows, it should not be how do you transfer the data. Those
Yes.
things
Yes.
should be looked at, and
Yeah.
optimize, obviously
Yeah.
optimize for the value that you are paying. And if you can have uh, majority of the functions in one tool, go for that tool instead of investing, because otherwise you would want a Zapier or Pably,
I know.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
so all those things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
instead
An
of investing,
integrated system there. Yeah.
integrated
Which gets it.
systems are
True.
better. Yeah.
True, true. No, thanks, Megha. That beautifully sums up, what you are doing, and specific to your industry. And I'm sure the most of the tools here can be used across industries. Everyone needs automation at this time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kanchan, for joining us. We had Kanchan the last time on the Vidphone Show, so very happy to see you here. Yeah, Shri, anything you would want to add to this, to Megha's this thing?
No, these days you will not be able to survive if you didn't know how to use these tools.
Yes, yes,
You will gone are the days of Skype, and we
yeah,
saw we did all our meetings on Skype. Hey, international, national, all of those things. Gone are those days from thanks to COVID. We had so many new platforms which came up,
yeah,
the
yeah,
Zooms and the Google Meets and other things.
yeah.
And even within the other ones, you have this integration of apps with the tools, like you have Trello and you have Slack and you have Bootstrap, and so these are not just WhatsApp for fun. It is actually functional. And the
Yes,
funny part
yes,
is, actually, if you had time someday and you sat on Netflix and you watched some movie which was more on business or any of
yeah,
those kind of things, you actually would hear all these names. So I
exactly,
was like, oh.
yes.
And when you say that, okay, fine, the lady would say, hey, I missed the meeting because I did not get it on Trello. And I'm like, okay, so I'm at par with where the world is going. Karke. A very nice way to take use of these tools is everything will not be useful for everybody. So you need to understand what is it that you want to take it,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
want to use it for your own.
Yeah.
Megha has a very different business. Her business is
True.
definitely more on communication and
Yeah.
be in touch with people, because
People.
on the
Yeah.
go she would be needing help and she would have to
Yeah.
provide help.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is much more, settler. If you do a research, you do it for 4 or 5 years. But I'm not saying that
Yes.
we don't do it with
Yeah.
a thing in mind. All I'm
Yeah.
saying it is each tool is important. You
Yeah.
have to know which one to use, where, and how much. So that would allow
Yes.
you to be. So these tools are basically making you more efficient.
Yeah.
Yes, learning happens and
Yeah.
things are changing at a very different pace altogether. By
Peace.
the time you
True.
learn one thing, the second one is already out and people are
Yeah.
online. So it
Yes.
takes time to catch up, but definitely without this there is no life.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Agreed. So, that's how I think, and it's essential to invest in those early so that, we can optimize our work. Why not, when somebody is building these tools for you to make your life easier, and it can ultimately lead to your business growth, right? At some point, I mean, so why not go explore and try? So, Shri, my next question, I would want to know from both of you, and I have a final question for you guys, but that I'll keep it for the end, and I'll just pop in this question in between on challenges. I think we haven't touched on that. Challenges that you have faced personally or in your industries. It might be industry specific challenges. I want you both maybe I'd like to, in the interest of time, let's just keep it to maybe 2 or 3 challenges that you guys, want to, and you feel others will be able to relate. And, how maybe what steps have you taken to, overcome those?
So, at least in my industry, I know this much that the biggest entrepreneurship is gender neutral. Let me tell you this much. Whether we are in
Yes.
this or whether we are from there, it doesn't matter. If I have faced the
Yes.
challenge, so has my male counterpart or person
Yes.
who is a guy and
Yes.
he has started a biotech company. So, I personally have never believed that gender comes in between. Just because I'm a
Yes.
lady, I should be given some more things. But
Yes.
but that being said, not many people are there in deep tech, and I do repeat this sometimes in my talks. We still have to worry about morning coffee, and we still have to worry about sham ka dahi. We have to take care of that. So it is always nice if I can get pointers that, hey, you know what, do these 3 things and you will get funding, do these 5 things and you will get a market access, or come to this platform and you will understand what is strategy, and come to that platform and you will say what are the risk awareness that you need to take in your business. So as
Yeah.
a woman entrepreneur, I would like to see that come in. I do not want
Yeah.
reservations. I do not want me to be said that you are abla nari. No, 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 no. This nari is bhari on many people, but
Yeah.
that is not me. That is, I'm talking about the all of the women that we are, and
Yeah.
I personally feel we are a very, very strong species. Very
Yeah.
strong species. I've
Yeah.
never heard a woman farmer committing suicide. I've heard a man committing suicide because he's, and poor chap. He has to take care of the family. It is believed that he's supposed to take care of the family.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not able. When he's not able to do that, that doesn't allow him to take his life forward on. But a
True.
woman, if something like that has happened in her life, she would also till the fields and she will make sure that the kids get food and go to the college or go to the education part. So
Yeah.
all I'm saying it is, we women are very, very strong,
Yeah.
very strong, and
Yeah.
definitely we have lots of things that we can do multitasking, or
Yeah.
if not multitasking, at least manage.
Yeah.
So challenge would be only that you have to put systems, whether, and this I take from Indra Noi's talk.
Mhm.
He said it long back, I heard it and I really put it in my life and it has worked for me. Whether it is work or whether it is house, I put systems in place.
True. True. Yeah.
So how people come to me at work and tell me that,
Yeah.
madam, this is how we do it. Same way
Yeah.
my maid in my house also does the same.
Yeah.
Agar if she doesn't tell me on Saturday ki kya kya khatam ho gaya hai, Monday
Mhm.
she has to manage.
Yeah.
No choices, and I need what I need. So she has understood over the years. So एक है ना, एक system बैठ गया है कि ठीक है, Monday Tuesday Wednesday ये हो जाएगा, उसके बाद Saturday को है कि she is going to give me
True.
a list. without fail she will give me a list whether घर में चीजें हैं extra हैं कुछ भी है but she will give list so that someday she forgets she is not to be blamed for. So
Yeah.
as long as you put these systems in place, I think we can manage everything. So
True.
challenges don't seem so big, but well, again it is industry specific or the way you want to take.
Yeah, no, I'll come back to that, Shri, and I'll also call in Jagat here, who's with us, because I know the few things you have mentioned here, like systems, entrepreneurship being gender neutral. We talk about this a lot, as a team too. So, I would like to have his views too. But before that, Megha, a little bit, what are your challenges and
So,
what have you faced? Yeah.
so there's entrepreneurship is like I was saying in the initial part. No matter how well prepared you are, something might go wrong, and you always need to be. You need to have two things. First, presence of mind. Second, a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
So humor helps to deal with your team in a better way,
Yeah.
because if something has been ruined by the team or by situations beyond control, then you have to just accept the fact and let go. And being in the in a services industry, the biggest challenge that I have to do is I have to productize a service. you know
Yeah.
so for me everything is about productizing a service, because
Yeah.
I can't still now I've not been able to develop a clone for myself. So
Mm.
that will also happen eventually with the way things are growing, but currently
Yeah.
it's not there. So how do I
Yeah.
ensure that everybody in the team, everybody, the process is laid off clearly and the client expectations, see, because we are delivering services to the client. So how do
Yeah.
we ensure that their expectations are met? So we use SOPs and productize every the OKRs and the KPIs.
Yeah.
So basically it helps to ensure that there is a smooth flow of communication. Yes,
Yeah.
still there will be certain things will happen that we just manage without a grin. Sometimes
Yeah.
we have to let go of certain things also. I think very important thing, more than knowing what you have to do, it is
Yeah.
important to know what you don't have to do.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
people in entrepreneurship understand that what are the things, if see, mine is a very competitive space, very price sensitive space in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
for from big agencies to mid agencies to freelancers, everybody offering work in different dimensions, not as a
Yeah.
consolidated piece as we are
Yeah.
offering. so
Yeah.
so that happens. But you have to also choose what you can give, what you don't give, because otherwise it
True.
will lead to breakdowns of teams, and to keep the team cohesive. And also clients will also, they will be, it will reduce the stickiness of the
Yeah.
service. So I think we need to understand that, and that helps to wade through the challenges.
Yes. Yes. No. Lovely put. You have put together very nicely, Megha, and I'm sure people in your industry and across industries would be able to relate to what both of you have touched upon. Because she talked about systems, right, and you spoke about OKRs, and how OKRs is a very good way. Like I was telling, in our team also we have been, developing these OKRs so that individually also and as a team it can grow. And it, like you said, it's just not about yourself, right? It's about the systems being in place even after you. I mean, the company
Correct.
would go like, so that's what
Yeah.
it is. So now coming to my last question, before we take some questions from the viewers and everything. And Shri, I know, I have spoken to you about this question before. So Shri, women empowerment and financial. So most of the times we tend to say that, if a woman is financially independent, she is empowered. So I would like to know your thoughts on this. Do you think women empowerment and inclusion go hand in hand? Or do you think there's a lot of work, still we should not interrelate both? So please feel free to share your thoughts.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. And I have a little different view on just financially independent woman is equal to women empowered. I personally don't think that. And the reason is as simple as that. I have seen celebrities, I have seen many of us in and around, I have seen myself. I have seen people that you might be earning a six figure. You might be technically qualified to open a Tesla and put it back again. You might be technically qualified enough to as a business owner. You might be a strategist whose strategies have helped the companies grow into x $1 million or $1 billion also. But when you go back there, and if you want to take a car or you want to buy a car, you still feel that it is nice to have somebody with you who will be able to tell you which color to buy, or
True.
the men, the brother and the father or the husbands
Yeah.
and anybody. But you would want somebody to come with you to the car showroom and take it. And I don't think that is women empowerment.
Yeah.
My logic to women is, I'm not asking you to take Jhanda Danda and move around in the space. No, 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 no. That's not what I mean by women empowerment. What I mean to say with women empowerment is that you need to take the decisions
Yeah.
and stand up for those decisions.
True.
Sometimes it will be tough,
Yeah.
sometimes it will be good, it will be easy.
Yeah.
Now, the outcomes of the decisions, you can't just run away somewhere else.
Yeah.
Now, outcomes of the results, decisions are also yours. So, if it is
True.
good, well, celebrate yourself, put a pat on your back. But if it is not good, then it is not somebody who will come and bail you out. So
Yeah.
that time you don't become an ablanari. Then you have
Mhm.
to be a person who will stand up and say, hey, you know what, I did this mistake, it's my problem, I will sort it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And one such example I'll give you. When I went for in 2011, as I said, when we started the business, obviously for us we had a lab to dream a product, nahi? And for
Yeah.
putting up a lab you needed 1 CR. ठीक?
Yeah.
2011 was the time when actually government that time had said that you could take a loan of 1 CR without collateral. That was CGT MSc scheme of MSME. Okay.
Yeah.
And when I went to do that in the month of October, I gave my project report, and the 12 gentlemen did not even look at it. I kept going there for 10. After every 10 days, I used to land up in the bank. And the gentleman would get, finally, he got, worried why this lady is not letting him go. And
Yeah.
then next day, time when I went, he simply asked me, Madam, who is there with you? Where is your husband? Where is your brother? Or I said, why are they supposed to come?
Yeah.
That time the Prime Minister was Manmohan Singh. So I said, Manmohan Singh did not tell me that I have to bring these people. And so he said, no, matlab, who will pay the bill? I said, I'll pay the bill. If I'm taking this 1 crore, I'm going to pay the bill. You are not going to, I'm not asking anybody to pay the bill
Yeah.
in my house. So for heaven's sake, they don't even know what I'm doing. Because it was a high-tech biotech product and they had no clue about it. So I said, nobody else is going to pay the bill. It's us, me, who's going to pay the bill. Believe me, it took 6 months of persuasion, but
Yeah.
finally I got my money, and I got my money based on the project report that I had written. And that way
Yeah.
it was in 2011. So all I'm trying to tell you is not my success story, but all I'm trying to emphasize here is that if you take a decision, then whatever the decision has been taken, the good part of it or the bad part of it, everything you have to take care. It's not that some days I'm the bichara nari and some days I'm the one who is holding the reins and moving forward. So both sides, I think it is equal responsibility, and it is equal accountability, not just responsibility, accountability. And over the years, I have seen actually that. Uh, Women, especially in CGTMSC schemes, the bankers say that they prefer giving it to women because there is no collateral at all. So they are very scared that tomorrow people will just sell off everything and move out, and they will not be able to even locate them. And that is how I figured out that when you are empowered, only when you take a decision, number one, and you you stand up for that decision. You just cannot say, I today I am this and tomorrow I will not be there.
No, wonderful, Shri. Wonderful. Let's hear Megha, and then maybe we can just hear Jagat too, and we can sum up a little on what
Sure.
you said. Yeah.
So I think somewhere I also echo with Shri that women empowerment is not about basically raising slogans and this thing and that thing, or breaking the fabric of the society. So I have a very different take on this whole thing, because I've lived a considerable life on planet Earth now. so I, so after seeing and so much in the professional circle, having got the accolades and awards for whatever I have worked with, whatever I had done, what are the things that I've worked is, and what I would want to say is, basically, it's not for women or for men. It's not only about, it's about personal growth. It's about financial growth. It's about career growth. It's also about the relationships that you nurture. It's also about spirituality, because that gives you calm, all the anxiety that is being created, the high divorce rates that India is struggling with, that that needs to be imbibed in. Then there is also a thing about recreation. You need to basically have recreation as on the agenda, going on trek with your
Yeah.
kids or with your family members,
Yeah.
that brings so much of learning, so much of cohesiveness, that no amount of explaining the kids or explaining your team members will do. So it is
Yeah.
about that. It is about health. That
Yeah.
I think I don't need to speak about that, because COVID has taught us a very good lesson on that. And the last book that needs to be worked on is community giving. you know we have so much of experience, so much of learnings. We need to share it with our folks, with our community, build that tribe. Otherwise, everything will go for a waste. Why reinvent the wheel when things are already there? So learn from people who are already doing well and pass it on. Otherwise, our knowledge will be a leaking bucket, nowhere to go. Just it'll dissipate with us. So I think women empowerment for me is relationships, because personally and professionally it has helped me. It's about health, it's about growth in different dimensions, it's about spirituality, it's about, and then only, that's what I was talking in this start, it's about the wheel of fortune. So
Yeah.
you build that
Yeah.
pleasant life for yourself and people around you. So
Yeah.
that's women empowerment for me.
Yes. So I think that was beautiful, Megha, because you started with this thing, right? You wanted to, in this session, impart this thing, that how you have built your life across these things, together. The balance you have built, you feel like, if people start seeing it this way, they would also be able to build a life like this. And I think
Correct.
that beautifully sums up our session. We are so, and she completely agree. When we discussed about this question yesterday, it really got me thinking too. And I really thought, it's a crucial question to ask both of you in this session. And like you said, the decision making is crucial, and to take ownership of those decisions, I think. And
Yes.
yeah, so Jagat, your take, the last two things that Megha and she were discussing. First we were discussing on some challenges where they spoke about systems, the importance of systems. Shri talking about how entrepreneurship is gender neutral, and now Megha talking about how we should have a balance in everything we do. I think as a team also we talk a lot about this in Vidphone, and I was just telling them that. So a little bit, Jagat, your thoughts on this, or anything you'd like to add here.
Well,
And good to
thanks
have you
to
with us finally. Yeah.
my totally, it's a wonderful pleasure, and I just want to say, thanks to both Megha and Shri for joining in. I think I've spoken to both of you, and yeah, whatever you're saying is exactly what I think the culture is all about, and it should be about, and that's really good to hear. So, I think coming to I think systems. I think every day we talk about, maybe the word system is more used than any other word. I think in our day to day. I think I usually can also she'll vouch everything. I try to put everything into systems because and this again the recent Chat GPT question. Can it replace our jobs, and all of that is to do similar with this. The kind of our job is very different. The nature of your job is going to change. It's no more going to be about trying to find the information, but to actually imagine on top of the information, right? So it's about how creative somebody can be with the same data that's given to everybody. So data is no more the differentiator. I can always get any data I want, but it's about what you do. So number one, systems, I think most important. Yes, in entrepreneurship, there are, as we discussed in office, maybe about 10 systems totally that you need to run a full-fledged enterprise. But marketing, sales, and you can about have 10 above them approximately. But for a person starting up, to try and even understand these systems, not just the names of it, but what actually happens is not easy. And even harder is to actually have a process or a tool that helps you do that. So these are also big things that I think I resonate. We work on it every day almost. So totally valid point, right? Second was, I think, on balance. Third was balance. The second one is, I think, on and I just scribbled something. I forgot the second point you mentioned, but the third one on
No, I
balance.
said entrepreneurship is gender neutral. That's what.
Okay, I was trying to find the G what I wrote. Gender neutral. Gender neutral, totally. I mean, look, like the last time I said, I think of a working woman means I think of my mother, because when I was very young, I used to go with her to the office all the time, and my wife also, who I met her also when we were just about to work, and my sister as well. So to me, it's a natural. The more I think people talk about things when it's not natural or something. If something's natural, you don't talk about it. So to make this concept of somebody who's working, who's a woman or a man, just like today, you talk of girls are going to school probably in Afghanistan. That's so it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But definitely it should be a thing that's normal, like how we say, in an urban city like Bangalore, normal schools there are boys and girls together. It's just life. So I hope that'll come very, very soon. I think it's already there in many places, but there is a big divide when it comes to Bangalore or cities, and then you go down to other places. Mysore and all is much better, but I think when you go to villages and stuff in interior UP or interior Bihar, you'll know that there is absolutely no equality or things like that. So definitely something to work on a lot. People like you will obviously push those things a lot more, and I think that's completely true. In terms of balance, the last point, I think, oh yes, I mean, so yesterday we just we're launching our poker, probably the world's first video-enabled poker tables. I don't know how many of you play poker, but it's really exciting. It's like Zynga poker, but you actually have video on it. Sports is part of our day-to-day, and if you look at school, you had PT or PE, whatever you call it. That was a very important part of school itself. We'd look at the timetable, and that day was our favorite because we had PE. So definitely in offices and corporates, it's vital. In fact, building company for over a decade, I think the tech industry, unfortunately, has been only run by so-called geeks who are very, very not into sports and stuff like this. So I think that whole mindset is an imprint upon certain things that happen. It may or may not be right. I think people who play sports, we have the right kind of competitive mindset, how to compete and how to actually play team sports. So these things are inborn. Like you can see Gray Nichols back. There's my cricket kit. There's my golf kit behind. So, and my guitar as well. So, of course, I think if you don't live a rounded life, you don't live the right life, right? So, absolutely well said. And when you look at India, we have that unique advantage where all this is into our life already. In the West, it's about trying to find some kind of balance between your work and your life. But in India, even today, the local shops that you see, the shop is in the front and his house is at the back. So he can switch between work and play so easily. And that's the power of our culture.
Yeah. No, thanks, Jagat, for that, and beautifully summing up what we have been talking about. So with that, we come to the end of, today's session with Shri and Megha, and it has been lovely, both of you, knowing about your journeys, your thoughts, things about your industry. So thank you very much. I think Kanchan is there with us, and she had a question. So Kanchan, would you like to, come raise? I have enabled a raise hand and come and talk about your question or put it on the chat.
I think she asked about how do you learn or improve in your industry.
Yes. She has put it on the chat. So her question is, how do you learn or improve in your industry? Any thoughts, Shri, Megha?
See, first would be to go through the industry specific. Every industry has industry specific portals. Go through those, attend industry specific events. And once you attend those events, you would be able to navigate through the system. You would be able to collaborate with the other people, meet up in different and I think a lot of companies are doing a very good job, nowadays, building ecosystems. So, out of there are women in tech programs, there are women in nothing in marketing. I don't remember this thing, but yeah, there's a lot in tech, there is a lot in other areas. So I think understanding, and then even if there is not specific to that area, there will be speakers from the different industry. So you can actually reach out to them, talk to them, and since they are speakers, they usually oblige people by sharing their information, which you will not be able to find otherwise. So leverage the ecosystem. That's what I would say. Attend the events offline, online. And after COVID, there are a lot of events are being done online. So
Online, yeah,
do
virtually.
utilize them.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Megha. Shri, your take on this? Any suggestion for Kanchan?
Well, to learn or improve in your industry, yes, definitely. Again, I'll go back to a mentorship. I would rather have a mentor to me. So, like right now, that is what I'm going through. AA Probix, what we have is for the aquaculture. Now, probiotics in aquaculture. The basic subject is probiotics, but now it has an application in aquaculture. Obviously, it's a new industry, and I have to understand the industry before I start to see what exactly I'm going to get out of it, let alone that I'm venturing out totally into a new place, new one. So, all these networks, all these things, and the first thing I did was to find a person or two who can tell me what happens in aquaculture, where is the basic need, what is the market pain, whether what I'm thinking and what I'm bringing on table, is it the requirement even or not. I can be getting excited because I have made some technology, doesn't mean that those guys will actually get excited and pay for it. Obviously, to explain to a farmer that I'm trying to do probiotics and all, it's out of their scope of understanding. I don't expect them to understand. If they understand also, they need to be from the biotech world or a bioengineering world to appreciate what I'm saying. So there are lots of ifs and buts for an industry when you are getting new into it. And again, the same thing, my way of dealing with it is that I found a mentor from the aqua industry, and this gentleman has like a PhD in aqua culture, and the fellow has been in the industry for 35-40 years, retired as a director of the fisheries, and so he knows in and out of it. Even before I design a product or I design a problem, or I go to him and say, hey, you know what, sir, I'm thinking that this is the market pain, he would have shot me down. So that's who tells you. Just because you think doesn't mean that it is a market pain. There are many things to be done. There are many people who will be taking care of this market pain that you think you have identified. So having a mentor always helps. My 2 cents on it. And
Yeah,
then again, same thing like Megha said, communities are the best places. If anything else, you just be part of it and you will learn so many things.
yeah,
You don't need to repeat
yeah,
you don't need to do the mistake to understand. Learn from the, I mean, they say this literally, WhatsApp morning good morning gyan, that you don't have to, learning from your mistake is smart, but learning from others mistake is wisdom. So
yeah,
I think I actually put it in action. I just be part of these communities which help me, and I just keep quietly just see what all things are happening. People do tell about their things, their problems, and I know that this is not to be done. So
yeah, yeah.
leverage on both these things, and I'm
Things,
very
yeah,
sure that and I'm telling you, actually, I have always found unknown people helping you more, unknown people coming to your help more than the people whom you think that you will come to help, your help.
yeah,
I have
yeah,
always found that. So reach out to people, reach out to people,
Serendipity.
ask
Yeah,
them
absolutely. I mean, you won't believe. I
rather
was just
than
talking
not
about
ask.
this yesterday with Ayushvi as well.
yeah. I was just
I said,
thinking about it,
yeah,
that you were mentioning, talking, even, you're just, we're just talking about this. Yeah,
but it's like you have some plans, but the world has other plans. The universe is around you, right? So everyone tries to fit the universe into their scheme of things.
Absolutely. So this is how I have figured out, and I'm hoping that Kanchan, we have answered your question that how do you get into the industry or improve. Learning
Yeah.
is always good. Learning is
The
like
better
a
route. That's absolutely right.
business, lifetime
Yeah.
business. It's not. So when I did my MBA, everybody was like shocked that time. You have a PhD, you're going for a lower degree. I said, yeah, but the requirement is something different. It doesn't require me to learn more of science. It requires me to learn something in the how to do microeconomics or how to do my how to do the pricing. Now, even more funnier, I just ended up doing a certificate course with Walmart, and I should tell you, Ayushi and Jagat, that this might be something that will be very interesting to you. They allow you to do these courses. You have to actually learn the courses and clear an exam before they allow you to put your products online.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
course material that they have given me, and there are 31 modules, and they asked me to only clear 3 modules. I mean, that is their general method, but
Yeah.
only 3 modules to be cleared. I'm telling you, after running a company for 15 years, those 3 modules, when I took test and when I was trying to clear it, I was like, huh, this is a new
Oh yeah.
thing I'm learning again. So, it's never wrong to learn things rather than,
Yeah.
doing mistakes and
And
paying.
we always find things like this that, even for me, I
Yeah.
mean, recently I'm following 2 3 people, like obviously running business for 13 14 years now, so right from the early days, and then Steve Blank, then you have, Alexander Osterwalder, and you kind of grow through everything, and suddenly last year I found a couple of people who I felt like summed up everything very very well. So that's right. Constant learning is, I think, part of also being an
Yeah.
entrepreneur, right? I always say
Yes.
that somebody who gets into a job after you finish 22 24 25, your learning pretty much stops. For us, the
Yes.
learning starts when you're an entrepreneur. So that's very well said. Also. Yeah, I think, totally agree. It may be
Yes.
interesting. We'll chat about that. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, certainly. So beautifully said, and I think Kanchan is also building a community, right? So I mean, she's already doing this. She's building this community called Inspire, which you guys I think are a part of, or you should be a part of, if not. But yeah, so that's the beauty of communities. I think it just gives us a lot of opportunities to be in touch with each other, not just for work, like you both touched upon, but for your overall growth, as entrepreneurs, as people. So thanks a lot, Shri and Megha. And we have, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know we have overcrossed our limit, but I think the discussions were so happening that, we did not feel like cutting them down. So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Jagat, for joining us and sharing
Thank
your
you.
views too. Look forward. You guys will have the recording available, so please feel free to share it with your networks, people who could not join us today and everything. Thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Ayushi. Thank you, Jagat.
Absolutely.
And lovely catching up with you, Shri, today.
Same
I think
here,
we have
same
the
here.
same thought process somewhere.
I
I was
agree. I agree. No, I was told by our common friend Chitra that
okay.
you will enjoy talking to her, and I realized that this is going to be one such a scintillating, literally talk that we are going to have today, a webinar that we are going to have, and I was looking forward to it. So thank you so much, Vidphone and Jagat, Ayushi. I have known you for a long, long time, as you rightly said.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yes.
much for bringing us on this platform and introducing to Megha. Megha, let us just get in touch and be in touch with each other. I'm hoping there are many more reasons and many more things that we can do together.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Certainly, all of us can do together. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Thank you
So
so
we'll
much.
be in touch. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Thank you so
day.
much.
Have a
Thanks.
good evening.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thanks.